Namaskaram, all the Russians,
Hello.
In one room, so many Russians. Huh?
Nice to meet
Hello.
you, Sadhguru.
Please.
Thank you so much for this meeting. I've read so many books of yours. I have pimples all around.
What?
I have, like…
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps, yeah. Ну что, можем… You're ready?
Yes, you can put me in hot water now.
Садхгуру. Настоящее имя Джаги Васудев. Индийский йогин, мистик, философ и бизнес-коуч. Родился в семье врача 3 сентября 1957 года в городе Майсуре, что на юго-западе Индии. В местном университете получил степень бакалавра по английской литературе. В возрасте 25 лет, по словам Садхгуру, к нему пришло озарение. Он стал заниматься йогой, медитацией и впадать в транс. В 1992-м основал благотворительный фонд «Иша», который сейчас проводит программы йоги по всему миру. С середины 2000-х Садхгуру активно позиционирует себя как мотивационный спикер и коуч. Он читал лекции в университетах Лиги Плюща и в компании Google, выступал в офисе Всемирного банка, а также на экономических форумах в Давосе и в Петербурге. В 2017-м по личному приглашению Германа Грефа мистик впервые приехал в Россию, чтобы провести тренинги для топ-менеджеров Сбербанка. С тех пор у Садхгуру на русском языке выходят книги и есть официальный YouTube-канал, у которого более 2,5 миллионов подписчиков.
The first question to you, Sadhguru, is about the times we are living in. It sounds that it's very hectic time, a lot of things happening in the world. And I think for the last years, with first the pandemic, then several conflicts, many people feel like the world goes some wrong place, something changes. And many of the people feel it. What do you think? Why our world changed so much for the last several years?
Namaskaram. Well, I think because of our connectivity, we are exaggerating things a bit too much. If you look back in the last couple of centuries where things are reasonably well recorded, there have been plagues where many more people died. Even the Spanish flu took many more people than this one. You had 2 world wars in the last century, and before that, every other day there has been a war. That way we are doing much better than ever before. We are living in much more comfort, much more convenience. The problem is most people do not know how to process and conduct the information that comes to them. Today, wherever if 10 people are killed, in another part of the world, it pours into your sitting room, blood and gore and everything, all right? If 1,000 people got killed 200 years ago, you would be sitting very peacefully thinking the world is very peaceful, all right? Because you wouldn't know. So, it is about our ability to handle information rather than things going bad. Things are not going bad. A few things are wrong, we must fix it, there's no question about it. For some people, unfortunately, who are in war zones, in famines, it's been a problem. But if you look back in the last 3-4 centuries, how many famines, how many wars, how many deaths, killings, no end, especially for women. This is the best time ever. Yes, never before it's been this good. In no civilization, I'm saying. It's been very hard to be a woman in this world. It's much better now than ever before. So, we want to complain, we can complain. This does not mean we don't have problems, we have problems to be fixed, no question. Simply because the immensity of human capability is such, if a few things go wrong, a cascade of things can happen. That is one problem, which was not there in the past. If 2 groups of people fight, it was just there. Today, when you talked about the pandemic is only because of the mobility that we have, isn't it? Somewhere in Wuhan it starts. It wouldn't have gone anywhere if we didn't have airplanes. Hello? People traveled all over the place. And within few months it was just all over the world. And anyway, it didn't turn out as bad as people predicted. Unfortunately, 6 million plus people lost their lives. It's very… almost everybody that we know lost somebody who's dear to them. So, I'm not trying to belittle that tragedy. I'm just saying the world has always been facing such things. Compared to that, we are doing way, way better right now in 21st century. If you don't appreciate that, we cannot improve upon that. If we go on thinking everything is going bad, then there's nothing to do. Only if we appreciate, compared to anybody in the last 1,000 years, as a generation of people, we have more comforts, more conveniences, more mobility, more connectivity than ever before. If we handle it well, there is well-being. There are problems which we need to be ironed out, which we should work on.
I want to speak about your book, Inner Engineering. There is a lot in this book about karma. And
Oh, you've not read the karma book then?
no, karma book I've read, but I like the citation about in the book of engineering, of inner engineering. You have a very good citate, which says, karma is like old software that you have written for yourself unconsciously. I would like to ask you, how do you understand karma in this way? And for people who are, for example, are not religious, can by this citate we say like karma is a character? So if you behave yourself somehow, that will be your karma. Can you explain on that?
Yeah, with the residual memory, some people become characters, some will become caricatures. All right, it is happening all the time. But essentially, how much impact should the memory that you carry have upon you right now is your choice. Will you allow the memory to rule? Allowing the memory to rule means you have no future, you only have past in recycle. So keeping the memory away and looking at our life, experiencing our life and creating the next part of our life the way we want is important. Karma means action. It's our action. Action is not just physical. There is psychological action, there is emotional action, energetic action, and of course, physical action. These activities you're performing every moment of your life, 24 hours. Awake or asleep, these four things are always in some kind of activity. The residual impressions of these activities all remain within you and slowly become one kind of data. You have your own chat GPT going inside. It's not a new technology. Within this, it's always been happening, all right? So it processes and says with all this information, maybe you're like this, maybe you're like that, maybe this is how you should do, this is what you should like, this is what you should dislike. But overriding that, you have awareness and consciousness. If you want, you can override that, or you can become a slave to that. If you become a slave to the past information, you become a slave to past experience of life. So, it's important that our present experience of life is not determined by our past experiences. If you don't do that, you don't have a future, you just have past repeating itself in many different ways.
But can karma punish you for some deeds? And do you believe in karma justice? Because we know many examples when very bad people who killed a lot of other people or did something really bad, they died happily when they were very old people and they got no punishment, for example.
See, karma, the consequences of karma is within you. What happens around you is a question of how smart you are with the world. People always talking about this, I'm a good person, why am I poor, why am I in difficulty, somebody is bad and they're rich, they're doing well, what is this? Well, you may be good, but you're stupid, what to do? Someone else, you think they're bad, but they're smart with whatever they're doing. So we must understand karma means action. What kind of action you perform, accordingly it produces results. It's a very fair world. So with outside situation, let us say your camera person is a very good man, but he doesn't know how to handle his camera, then it's going to be a mess, your interview. But it doesn't matter who the hell he is, but he knows how to handle the camera, now this will come out well, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter, he may be the worst evil person, but he knows how to handle the camera, that's important for the job that he is doing right now. So similarly, with every aspect of our lives, as we function, it bears fruit.
But if you do something bad, for example,
What is
you're
bad?
Professional killer. You kill people for money, and you do it very well from the first shot, will this person be punished by karma?
See, we usually give them medals and honor them, right, in every country? Then what? They must be doing a good job somewhere.
Yeah, but maybe some deeds are not ecological. Do you look at this like that? Like some things are not ecological for your soul. Like you shouldn't do it because it's not good for your karma, for example.
No, there is a complete misunderstanding of karma. Karma is not a system of punishment or justice. Karma is just memory gathers and forms its own chat, GPT. Maybe they have a license over that, I'm using that. Within you, whatever data you collect, there is a process, an assimilation. So how much distance you keep from that, it doesn't matter what you have done yesterday. This moment, if you want to be a wonderful human being, you can be, isn't it? No matter what you did yesterday. This freedom, the existence has given us, we must exercise that freedom. Not going on determining our life and wondering, why are they doing well, though they are bad people in our mind. No, it's not like that. Let me tell you a situation that happened. One day a very pious religious man died, and he of course went to heaven. Then he asked, I want to meet God, and he met. Then he asked God, Dear God, my father, I have always been a very good man. I never did anything wrong, nor have I broken the laws of man or of God. I have gone by everything. And every day, not every Sunday, every day I have been at the church. Every night I have never gone to bed before praying. Every day without giving thanks, I have never eaten a meal. But you kept me poor as a church mouse. But my neighbor, he's an atheist who doesn't believe in anything. He's never gone to church, he drinks, he smokes, he does all the things that he's not supposed to do. But he's rich and he's happy. I see he's singing and dancing. God said, that is because he doesn't bore me through the day like you do.
It works that way, you think?
It's not that I think. If you want good results in something that you're doing, you have to do that act well. Somewhere else you may be a problem. You may be doing one thing right and that is working. Somewhere inside you may have problem, all right? Because you're not doing that thing right. So this is the nature of life. Unless you do it right, it doesn't work.
But what you say now is very revolutionary in a modern world because, for example, cancel culture is about like if a person did something not the right way, even if he's very professional. No, we don't want to work with him.
They're just trying to get rid of competition. What can you do?
You think that if a person is a genius in something, it doesn't matter what kind of character he has.
Yes, what he does well works well, what he doesn't do well doesn't work well.
Yes.
So somebody may be handling the outside well, not handling the inside well. Then inside there is turmoil, outside things are working. Somebody may be handling inside very well, but not able to handle the outside well. So he is very peaceful and joyful, but outside doesn't work for him. It's very important, whatever we wish to do, we must learn how to do it well, otherwise it won't work.
You're a frequent guest at different economic forums and very appreciated there if you come. You gave a lecture to businessmen in Davos, you gave lectures many times in Russia, in St. Petersburg forum. I was also visiting and also making a report of that. Could you explain me why top managers of all the world, including Google and big companies, want to listen to a mystic in a turban, isn't it?
This was a question that was asked to me when I went for the first, Davos summit. The first one I went was probably 2006, I believe. 2006 or 7, something like that. So there was a man who, at that time, it was the second largest computer making firm. So he was very agitated looking at me, and he came to me and said, "What is a mystic doing in an economic forum?" Then I asked him, "What's your business?" He said, "We make computers." I said, "See, whether you make computers or a safety pin or a car or a spacecraft, it doesn't matter what you make. The fundamental business is human well-being, and that's my business too. Just that you have forgotten that you're making computers for human well-being. You've forgotten the fundamental business, you're just, involved in the surface of your business. You want to just sell your computer. You're not seeing how this computer can bring human well-being, because all business is about human well-being. So that's my business, 100%.
You think that when people in business are feeling themselves good, the business will improve too?
Not like that. If they get smart, it'll improve. When I say smart, when you're in a given situation, being caught up in the process there, you work within those limitations. If somebody shows you a way out of that, you can function in a way that you did not imagine possible. That's why they value somebody who comes in who doesn't belong to that atmosphere but who is looking at it carefully. So the important thing is, if you want to succeed as a business leader, or any leader for that matter, you have to have some insight. Because leadership means it puts you on a perch. If you sit on a perch and you don't see any better than others, you will become an object of ridicule. When you sit in a higher position, you must see better. You don't have to do anything, you just have to see better. It's like the captain of a ship. He's just standing and looking, everybody else is working through the day, but he's just looking. But that's important, because he's looking. He has eyes to look, careful eyes to look. If he's not there, all their work may go into the rocks.
That's true. But do you agree that different generations have different kind of important things for them? Because I'm a little businessman, not as big as those with whom you speak, but even in my company, I see that, for example, young people who come to work, they want something different from life. They don't want to work really long day, they're not so much into career, they want more free time, more time for themselves. They can be hurt much more easier than people of an elderly age who are more like career-orientated. Do you feel that way, or it's just my own problem?
No, unfortunately it's beginning to happen. There is a positive and a negative to it. As I said, all businesses, all activity is about human well-being. Youth are beginning to see that. One reason is because the so-called successful people are not even showing a joyful face, they have stressed out faces. So especially right from childhood, you're looking at your parents who are supposed to be successful but stressed and screaming and shouting at each other and everything. Children don't listen to whatever nonsensical morals you teach them. They're watching you, they're observing you. They see it's not worth being like this. What is the point? You drive a Rolls-Royce but you're miserable. What is the point? A child will see it immediately. So he thinks just hanging around with his friends and drinking something, smoking something is better than all this career nonsense and business nonsense, because what has it done to you? So it's very, very important, this responsibility for successful people, because in human life, success is the sweetest thing that can happen to a human being. Doesn't matter whether you're doing small things or big things, success is the sweetest thing, because the purpose of action is success. We perform any action because we want that to be successful. So if you do not send a message to the youth that success is the sweetest thing and it's worth doing it, then they won't seek success. In a society where youth will not seek success, that society is down the drain. I have all young people around me, they all work… they're all here, I shouldn't… they all work 18 hours a day, 7 days of the week, 365 days, they don't know what's a vacation, and I don't pay them anything.
Lucky man.
No, that's because every moment of my life, I'm demonstrating that throwing your life out into something is worthwhile.
Wow. In Russia, your name is very linked with the success of Sberbank and Mr. Gref. I know you are very much in touch with Mr. Gref. You gave a lot of classes to the people of top management of Sberbank.
Я хотел бы с огромным удовольствием передать микрофон нашему уважаемому гостю.
Герман, все вы. Я поздравляю вас со всеми вашими финансовыми достижениями.
Tell me, because I know in person Mr. Gref too, I made an interview with him, not once. How did you meet, and what is the main advice you gave to him or his team, after which he said, yes, Sadhguru is something we need for our company very much?
See, I don't give any advice to anybody. When I look at things, I see it in detail. If I walk into this room, I just walked in. I don't have to turn around and look once again. I know what's here, what's not here. I'm saying human beings are capable of this attention, but they're busy with this. I got nothing here, it's empty. So I have attention. See, right now, if I ask you to walk from here to there, you will walk effortlessly. But if you switch off all the lights and make it pitch dark, you can't see anything, then suddenly you can't step, isn't it? You will become super alert. I'm like this all the time. I'm like walking into a space that I don't know. Nobody knows what is next moment. Does somebody know? Hello? Does anybody know what's tomorrow? No. But the idiots assume that they know. I know I don't know, so I'm super alert. If you're alert, everything is visible to you. If you're busy with your own cerebral nonsense, that means essentially you're eating the past. If you're eating the past, that's karma.
Okay, but still, how did you meet Mr. Gref, and maybe you had some important talk after which, all this happened?
Позвольте мне задать вам простой вопрос. Когда вам было 5 лет, сколько радостных моментов вы испытывали в течение 24 часов? А теперь, вне зависимости от вашего возраста, как много радостных моментов вы переживаете? Больше или меньше?
Because that's, Sberbank in Russia is like, Apple in America. It's a very high-tech company. And it's a very weird connection, high-tech company and some…
Are they doing well these days?
Not as before, but still they're very good in Russia, so to say.
No, these are hard times, but they're still doing well. That's nice to hear. Yesterday I met somebody from Sberbank. He was in one of our programs, I didn't remember his name, but he came and introduced himself, and I think he's connected with our teams now. See, nations go through difficult times, or the world goes through difficult times. We must understand whatever we do, however smart we think we are, however knowledgeable we are, capable we are, it is always the benevolence of times in which we live, which allow us to do things. See, yesterday you're in Moscow, today you're in Dubai. This is because it's 21st century. If it was 19th century, what would you do? You want to come and see me? You'll swim and come?
But it will take a lot of time.
Yes, I'm saying it wouldn't be possible, very difficult. So, you being here, of course you flew and came, that's another matter, but it's the times, isn't it? Without the benevolence of times, you wouldn't be here. This is same for all of us. The many things that we do is because of the times in which we exist. This is why it's not about being right, it's about being appropriate to the situations in which we exist, for the generation that we are. Whatever we were, what would have been right 50 years ago, 100 years ago, may not be right now.
But my question, is more about psychology. I know that those big bosses are very closed people. They are used that everyone wants to take money from them.
When they see me, they know I have not come for money.
Yes.
So they relax with me.
But how do you open their hearts? Like, for example, how
I have
you
a
make…
key, I can open yours also, be careful.
But like, do you have some concrete things? Maybe you can tell a story how it happened that a person, atheist, not believing in anything, a big boss, and suddenly something breaks in him and he wants, you know, to share with you everything in his company. He wants you to be with you in this situation and all these things, you know. How it happens?
Because what's being offered makes sense. That's the important thing. What I offered to their company was inner engineering program, which I personally conducted in their… they have an education center outside, but they also beat me up. You didn't know this.
What do you mean?
They beat me up very badly, 2 days, physically.
Really?
They put me through Russian banya.
I got scared.
They put me in ice cold water, they put me in boiling water, they beat me.
In Moscow. You liked it? Or it was…
At the time it's not nice, but afterwards it feels good.
Different from hammam, right? I enjoyed very much watching your talk with Matthew McConaughey. It was very nice.
You are his fan, that's why.
No, I'm yours fan too, first of all. And you did this experiment with rubbing hands, like showing practically what it means with being with closed eyes.
Просто закрой глаза, в течение 20 секунд энергично потри руки вот так. Из-за интенсивного движения твое сенсорное тело расширяется. Вот что происходит. Вот почему люди все время трутся друг от друга.
Maybe you can also share some practice which is very simple with our viewers and showing something like this, very simple, that can give this feeling.
Well, on the television, well, they can do this by themselves, they need not do it with us. The simple thing is this. One thing we need to understand is, this human mechanism is the most sophisticated and complex machine on the planet. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
More complex than the supercomputer. That also came out of this. More complex than rocket science, because that also came out of this. So this is a very complex machine. I'm asking you, have you read the user's manual? You're reading the inner engineering book. It's a little bit of user's manual. So, this is made in such a way, see, right now you're carrying a phone with you. There was a time when we want to type something, there used to be a Remington typewriter.
I still remember it.
If you type for 3 days, your fingers are as strong as karate master. Like stones, they become tuk 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 tuk. Today you're doing… Now ChatGPT is coming, if you just tell them, everything, it'll be done. So this is touch screen, gentle. This is even more than that. If you just think like that, whole chemistry will change. We can experiment and show it to you that if you sit one way, the body chemistry changes one way. If you sit another way, it changes another way. If I just see how people sit, I can tell them in the next 10-15 years what kind of problems they'll have, physical, mental, life situations.
Tell me about
No.
sitting, please. We need some concrete example.
So I'll come, because it is subtle. If you're holding the whole phone on the backside and typing, I know you're not going to record any message there.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm reading questions to be sure.
No, I'm saying if the reverse side of the phone you start typing messages, I know you're not getting any messages. You may be looking somewhere and typing, thinking you're typing. Nothing will happen. Similarly with this, if you think like this, everything will change. If you think like that, something will change. People have experimented, we have our own studies going on. If you sit here and think of tigers, chemistry will become one way. You think of a flower, it'll become another way. You think of an ocean, it'll become another way. Think of a mountain, it'll become another way. This is that sensitive. But these people are handling it roughly like it's hammer and anvil. So it produces things accidentally. People are joyful accidentally. If they have to be happy, 1,000 conditions you have to set. We have to fix all the people here before you can be happy. I'm not talking about you, I'm saying generally people are made like that. If I have to be happy, I have to fix all these people first, how I want them. Well, then the chances of me being happy are extremely remote because nobody is going to fix everybody the way we want, ever. Not even one person in your life has happened 100% your way, isn't it?
Yes, that's true.
Nobody happens, but this one can happen.
But you say that if you think of something like mountains, that makes you feel one way.
No, not feel one way. The chemistry itself changes.
So, my question is, in Russia now it's very popular things like money meditation, or like, you know, this book Secret, you should visualize money or something very expensive and this will come to your life. Does these techniques really work? Because it feels…
None of the rich people do it, only those people who have failed will do such things.
Yeah, I'm quite skeptical about this, so can you tell me? But this is also about
No,
this…
that's not what I'm saying. Let me come to this. I'm saying this machine is made in such a way, you have to understand how it works. Right now you wanted something concrete. We'll do one thing. Uncross your legs and sit like that, yes. Now you hold your hands like this, all four fingers together, and place it on your thigh. Don't do it right now, I will tell you. With your eyes closed, you will breathe… don't do it yet. You will breathe slightly deeper than normal. What is your breath? 10–15% more, breathe. When you do this, notice how the air fills up into your lungs. Where? In your lungs there are three lobes, upper lobe, middle lobe, lower lobe. Where is the maximum expansion and contraction? Notice it. As you're doing this, I will say switch your hands. When I say this, without breaking the rhythm of your breath, just turn this around and just see what happens to your breath. Where is the maximum expansion and contraction in these two positions, and then you tell me, okay? Eyes closed. Slightly deeper than normal. Notice where the maximum expansion and contraction is. Switch. Please open your eyes. Some difference? What's it?
More calm, you feel…
No, where is the maximum expansion and contraction?
Here, more comes here.
This way?
Yeah.
This way?
When it comes here, first it's more difficult, but then
I'll tell you what's happening, do it again. When you hold it this way, maximum expansion, contraction is happening in the lower lobe of the lungs, so you will notice it in the diaphragm. When you turn this around, it moves slightly upward because it's in the middle lobe of the lung. I'm saying just turning your hand over, the very way you breathe is changing. It's not just your breath, your very life energies are changing just because you did this. How many times in a day, unconsciously, are you doing this? You do this, you are setting it into turmoil and you want to be peaceful, you can do peaceful meditation, it's not going to happen. So this is karma, doing the right thing.
In the right moment. Yeah, that's interesting, and you feel a little bit different.
Yes.
Well, that's true. Thank you for sharing it with me. Your homeland is India, and for a long time…
I've been homeless.
For a long time it was occupied by Great Britain, as we all know. How do you think about this imperial past? Because many people nowadays, they think about what is it to have those imperial qualities. What do you think empires are always bad, or can there be some exceptions?
See, when the British came, not just the British, all Europeans wanted to come to India. Why do you think? Because it was the poorest country in the world? No, it was the richest country in the world. It accounted for nearly a third of world's exports. Over 26% of the world's economy was India. So they were not looking for a poor country that they want to come and serve. That's not why they were coming, because that was the richest place on the planet, so everybody wanted to go there. Even one guy lost his way and landed up in North America, and he called those people Indians. All right, I traveled across North America on my motorcycle during the pandemic because that gave me a chance to travel, and I traveled to 17 Native American nations. There are all these chiefs and others that I meet, they say, you know, we Indians. I say, no, you are not the Indian, me. I'm the real Indian, you are a mistake, you know. Somebody made a mistake about you. So and almost nearly 100% literacy in India, almost everybody could read and write. There were no schools, but everybody could read and write because the systems were such. But when the British left in 1947, our GDP had come down by 98%. We became one of the poorest nations. And our illiteracy was over 87%. Illiteracy, not education. So this is the gift that we had in 230 or 240 years of rule. We can't blame somebody for everything. Unfortunately, we allowed it to happen because there were just a few hundred soldiers. We could have handled it. But we didn't, because within people were fighting against each other, whatever. But in a most cruel way, industry and marketplace was destroyed. See, today people think India is an agricultural land. That's not true. India was a manufacturing and trading land, all right? Nearly 80 to 85% of the clothing that Europeans wore was from India at one time. That right from the Roman times, there have been complaints in the Roman Empire, they're complaining, why so much gold? Our gold is going to India. Because all the women, they want only Indian clothes, they don't want anything else. Because even today, we have 132 varieties of weaves, unique weaves in the country, which no other culture managed. In terms of mathematics, in terms of astronomy, in terms of medical sciences, we were way ahead, but everything was systematically destroyed, especially textiles. We were in another league. They not only destroyed the industry, they broke the thumbs of the weavers so that they cannot weave. This was systematically done.
Especially, yeah. Especially on purpose.
Yes, because that was the biggest business. And they taxed it in such a way it was impossible. There have been regions where farmers are taxed 100%. How's that? 100% tax. And famines were caused. Over 3.2 million people died in one single famine during World War because all the food was taken away, all transportation and communication was destroyed systematically. These are done by leaders who are celebrated today as great heroes in their countries, unfortunately. Anyway, we are not bitter about it, we're building it back. In 70 years' time, we are surging ahead. We are already the 5th largest economy, we will be the 3rd largest economy in the next 6 to 7 years' time, definitely, or maybe even faster. So, there is an upsurge of aspiration and enterprise which will grow, but we're a democratic country, so there is a lot of chaos. Everybody talks different things. It's okay, that is the way we grow.
But empire is always bad, right?
An invading empire.
An empire, even maybe there are good empires, but
No.
they are all invading. Invading is…
Okay, from kingdom to empire. See, if an empire expands locally, as ancient empires did, like you have little and you took little more into your control, because at that time, large tracts of land were not ruled by anybody. So at that time, empires were different. You traveling a long distance to another part of the world and taking over a completely different culture that you have no clue about, that's a different thing, that's always a bad thing.
Also, you already mentioned women, that now we live in a times which is best for women, you said in the beginning of our interview. In your books, you write a lot about women and femininity. And my question is about the role of women in the modern world. You claim that many women lost their femininity because of their career aspirations and
Not because of their career. If the playground is set in such a way that unless you're masculine, you cannot win there. The situation is set up in such a way, the only way you can succeed is by being very masculine. So to succeed, they are acting like men, which is a terrible loss, because you can aggressively grow, you can also gently grow. I'm growing without aggression, hello?
But why you think is bad for women themselves to lose their
See, it's not
femininity?
just about women. See, women are not separate species. You are or what?
We are separate species.
Really? This is dangerous. Women are not separate species, they're just an alternate gender, because that is the way the race perpetuates itself, all right? So, when we are not a separate species, constantly thinking men, woman, this has happened because we have been exploiting each other. Instead of collaborating with each other, we've been exploiting with each other. That little I'm sorry, I'll take back the word little because lot of exploitation happened. That exploitation, in reaction, they're doing something else. But it will not work well for anybody, it won't work well for human beings. Let us think this way, if something is… let's say this world goes bad for men, don't think it'll be good for women, it'll be bad for everybody. If it goes really bad for women, it will not be good for men either, all right? So, this society cannot be created just for men or women because we are the same species, we are taking our gender too seriously. No, we must understand, biologically we are made for different things, but today because of technology, in terms of work, we can all do the same type of work. It wouldn't be possible. As I said, if there was no airplane, it was 300 years ago, you wouldn't be coming to see me in Dubai. But maybe a man would get onto a horseback and somehow make it.
Okay, but I'm a woman in a modern world, and can you explain me why femininity is so important? Because honestly speaking, I don't feel this importance of, having this part in my life.
No, you don't have to act like this. Feminine does not mean that.
But
I don't mean feminine means you must become a Barbie doll, no.
what do you mean then by femininity, which women lose?
Everything physical in this universe has been created between polarities, positive, negative, North Pole, South Pole. So what you're saying is, let's remove the South Pole, we don't need it. That's the end of the world.
What we should do then?
We should understand biological differences are not ultimate. If you identify so strongly with your body parts, essentially it's a question of body parts, that too only reproductive parts, everything is same. So if you must identify with body parts, at least choose the brain, all right? So you being a woman or somebody else being a man is not relevant right now. You and me are talking, you being a woman or a man is not relevant to me. Those things are relevant only in bathrooms and bedrooms. You should not bring it everywhere.
I'm asking you about this, SADHGURU, because for Russian it's a very important issue. Our country is quite traditional, and for many men it's really important that still, these roles are different. So the wife cooks for them at home, she must bring children, she can work and it's okay.
No, because somebody brought children, that's why you and me are sitting here, right?
So, but what to do with this collapse of traditional way of thinking of a woman?
It's individual choice. See, we should never make it like that, all women should go and become professional. All women should stay home and do, just be a wife to somebody. It is individual choice. Some people enjoy doing that, some people enjoy doing that. they're doing something else. We are trying to make a philosophy out of it. No, it's individual choices. It's perfectly fine.
I want also to ask you about your yoga quote, which I very much liked. Yoga is not a philosophy, it is a reality you can experience and explore. But can you really immerse into yoga without religion? I think it's very much linked together.
Really?
Yes. No?
Not at all. See, religion means you believe something. You believe something means you assume things that you do not know. Hello?
Yes, that's true.
When you say, I believe something, what does it mean? You actually don't know, but you assume. How do you assume? Somebody tells you, this is what is written in this book, this is what this great man says, and you assume. So essentially what you are saying is, authority becomes the truth for you, that's religion. Yoga means truth is the only authority for us, because it's an exploration. The word yoga means union. Are you breathing right now, or because you're Russian you don't breathe?
I breathe.
Or because you're woman you don't breathe? You breathe, very good, I'm glad to know that. So when you exhale, the tree is inhaling. The tree exhales, you're inhaling. This is yoga. This I'm talking only about respiration. It's not just respiration, every cell in your body, every subatomic particle in your body is transacting with the rest of the universe in various levels. Without the transaction, you won't exist here for one moment. Yes?
That's true.
So, if you're conscious of this, that actually who I am is not just here, it's like happening. See, what did you have for lunch?
Today, pasta. Bad?
No, that sounds very Italian to me.
It was vegetarian because
So the pasta doesn't look like you, doesn't smell like you, doesn't feel like you, you eat it. Within a few hours it's become you, isn't it? So what happened? Yoga happened, union, yoga means union. What was not you became you. This pasta, before it came on your plate, where was it? In a shop. Before that, where was it? It was in a farm. Before that, where was it? It was in the soil. So what was soil now sitting here as you? Wonderful. Hello? Within a matter of few hours, you transformed something else into yourself. This is yoga, but you're not conscious how it happens. There is an intelligence within you which is doing this. A piece of bread becomes a wonderful woman. Not a small thing. If I take a piece of bread in my hand and turn this into a human being, who do you think I am?
it will be part of it.
No. I took a piece of bread and made this into a human being. What would you think I am?
A god.
Yes. You are also doing that. You're turning not even bread, you're turning pasta into a woman. You are also doing that, but you are not conscious how it happens. If you become conscious, then you are a yogi. So what religion is this? Religion means you're assuming things that you do not know.
By the way, speaking about pasta, do you have your own diet or some kind of rules?
Not pasta, for sure.
Yeah, maybe some Ayurvedic rules which makes you feel different, because I tried Ayurveda for several times in different parts of India, and you really feel different by eating different food. So what's your routine about this?
I wish there was a routine because every day I'm in a different place. I'm at the mercy of people. Generally, they've been taking good care of me. See, I'm pretty well fed and good.
So you're not vegetarian, you don't have some, special tips maybe? What is the best food?
I am vegetarian by choice. I'm not… This is not a moral value for me. I will not eat, animal food or something, it's just sensible. This is a question of your evolution. See, nobody has to give up meat as some kind of a giving up. Meat is a survival food. When we were hunters and gatherers, we ate that. But if you evolve as you have evolved within you, as all human beings have evolved, if you pay attention to your evolution, you will naturally become a plant-based diet. If it's missing somewhere, then of course you can fall back for one day to survive, because survival is important. But if you have a choice, you will naturally become plant-based consumption, because if you observe your body, it's all there. Do I have to go into this anatomy? Should I?
It's…
See, right now, if you look at the way, because the alimentary canal starts from your lip to the anal outlet. Here itself, if you look at it, all the carnivorous animals have canines, 2 teeth to tear the meat, and incisors to cut the meat, no molars. Because meat doesn't need chewing, it has to be cut into pieces and swallowed. And also if you look at the jaw movement, all the carnivorous animals have only this kind of movement. All the herbivores have this and also grinding. What do you have?
The second one.
Yes, you have grinding action also. And you have both incisors and molars because you're supposed to chew your food. Chewing the meat is useless because it doesn't do anything in the mouth. If you chew any carbohydrate, if you chew any cereal or anything else which is plant-based, the digestion begins right here because you have the necessary enzymes in your mouth. If you eat properly, at least 30 to 40% of your digestion should be over here. If you're gulping it down like a carnivorous animal, then digestion won't happen. Because the stomach bag here is expecting half-digested food, you're putting undigested food, lot of problems, any number of problems. For a whole lot of problems, chronic ailments that people have, headquarters is in the stomach, not in Moscow.
Okay.
So if you look at the length of the alimentary canal from there onwards, in all the carnivores, the length of the alimentary canal is approximately 3 times the length of their body. In all the herbivores, it's 5 to 6 times the length of your body. Your alimentary canal is anywhere between 26 to 30 feet. This is 6 times the length of your body or 5 to 6 times the length of your body. So this is because meat moves very slowly, so all carnivores have short alimentary canal. This is a design of evolution, all right? If you eat vegetarian food, it goes very quickly. Because of that, you have long alimentary canal so that there's enough time to absorb whatever you have to. If you… in your present system, in the human system, if you eat a fruit, you will digest it within 1.5 to 3 hours. If you eat a vegetable uncooked, you will digest it in anywhere between 12 to 15 hours maximum. If you eat cooked vegetarian meal, it takes 24 to 30 hours. If you eat cooked meat, it will take 52 to 54 hours. If you eat raw meat, it will take 70 to 74 hours. If this food stays in your body for 74 hours, you're manufacturing lots of problems. You're learning to live with it. You're trying to wash it down with alcohol, you're trying to do all kinds of things, but you're causing stress to the system. When you're like this, you begin to become aggressive and stressed and irritable all the time, you act like a tiger. People are proud being a tiger. It's an evolutionary backward step. Hello? Human being became a tiger. Is it a forward step or a backward step? Serious backward step, isn't it? So all these are happening where if it was survival, we ate whatever came our way. Once there is a choice, you must not listen to me. You must listen to your body, look at the evolutionary nature of how things are. You will naturally become plant-based.
Can you give 5 simple steps to happiness?
Only one step.
One step?
Yeah.
So simple.
Yes. It's the simplest thing. Even as a child, you were able to do it, right?
I don't know. Tell me.
When you were 5, 6 years of age, were you not happy?
I am sometimes happy now, but not a lot.
I know, I'll come to sometimes. But as a child, were you not happy?
I think I was. I'm not remembering very good, but…
8 years of age, were you happy? You were.
Yeah.
At that time, somebody had to make you unhappy by doing something to you. Today, somebody has to make you happy sometimes. When did the equation turn around like this?
That's true.
So essentially you must understand, your happiness or your misery, both are caused in your mind. Is that so?
Yes.
Both are happening from within you. What's happening from within you must happen your way, isn't it? Especially because you think you're a liberated woman. Hello? If you are so liberated, what's happening within you must happen your way. What's happening around you, all these horrible men, they don't listen.
Okay, but sometimes, I know, I've read a lot of your books, but it's very hard. For example, imagine…
We'll come to the difficulty later, but I'm asking you the simple logic. What's happening within you must happen your way, isn't it?
But it's sometimes not
No,
possible.
we will come there. Possibility we will come, what's the problem? In simple logic, do you understand
Yes,
that your mind should do what you want?
yes.
Suppose it so happened, your two fingers, they start poking your eyeballs. Is it okay?
No.
No. Because I'm concerned about you, if your fingers start poking your eyeballs, I will come and hold your arm down. If you don't listen at all, then maybe we'll tie you down to the chair. If you don't listen, we'll take you to your doctor.
I wear glasses because of that.
That will also break. If you go to your doctor, maybe he sees no other way and amputates your hand. Terrible consequences. Why? Because your hand is beating you. If my hand is trying to beat you, there are many solutions. You can run away, you can fight with me, somebody else will handle it. But when your hand starts beating you, solution has to come from within, yes or no? Right now, you're beating yourself with your own thought and emotion. So this is just the same thing. I want you to just imagine, you started doing this and plucking your eyeballs out. How silly is it? Insane, isn't it? That's all it is, even now. If you beat yourself, if you poke yourself with your fingers, or you poke yourself with your thought and emotion, what is the difference? So essentially, we do not know how to handle our own intelligence. This is the problem. Yes?
Yes, but sometimes it's…
No, we'll come to that, don't go there.
Okay, okay.
Right now, this is East. But tomorrow morning, you want to watch the sunrise. In the desert, sunrise is very wonderful. But you face this way, west, and sat down, ready, early morning. You sat up at 5 o'clock in the morning, want to see the sunrise. But doesn't come. Then you see shadow, your own shadow growing. Then you want to see where is it coming from. Very difficult to watch sunrise. Then you will come with the theory, watching sunrise is the most difficult thing in the universe, because neck breaks. If you really see it, your neck is broken. If you don't see it, you're lucky, yes or no? So you face in the wrong direction and try to see that, it's not going to work. Right now, whether it's happiness or misery, peace or turmoil, joy or torture, all happening from within you, isn't it?
Yes.
Then why what you want is not happening? Your own mind is not taking instructions, it's like these two fingers. Why? Because nothing has been done about it. You've been handling it accidentally. When you live accidentally, anxiety is normal. There is a way.
How can we change it?
That's why I told you must do inner engineering. I can teach you a simple process. Today there is substantial scientific evidence. In the Harvard Medical School Teaching Hospital, which is the Beth Israel Hospital in Boston, lot of research has gone on. Now they have said, if you do inner engineering practice, 21 minutes for 6 weeks, your BDNF and the endocannabinoids, you know what's cannabinoid? You're doing it?
Carbonite, yeah.
No, cannabinoid, smoking.
Marijuana, yeah, of course.
That is…
Cannabis, yeah.
Cannabis. Internally there's cannabis, body produces endocannabinoids. Endocannabinoids, the production goes up by 70%. 70% increase in endocannabinoid means this doesn't even happen in sexual orgasm, much more than that, simply sitting here. So if your chemistry itself is blissed out, how can you be unhappy? Then you'll become helpless like me. Nobody can make you unhappy, so everybody is walking all over me all the time.
Yes, but sometimes you want it without cannabis, and that's the problem, and this is what maybe you can give advice.
See, when you smoke it from outside, it immobilizes you, it intoxicates you.
Yeah, but how to
No,
do
no,
it?
but when it comes from within, it empowers you,
Okay.
liberates you.
Let's have a concrete example. For example, I am preparing for the interview with a so-loved Sadhguru. Questions, I'm so excited. I come here…
This may happen, now the camera might not have captured anything.
Yeah, and for example, the camera doesn't capture, or by
Then
some
we'll have
means
a
you
good
don't
laugh.
come.
I'll have a good laugh and go.
Yeah, and for example, I come in and like, yes, everything is destroyed. How can I feel happy
Nothing
after
is destroyed, you came all the way, you met me, and we are sitting here and going about things.
Okay, for
Only
example,
the-
you didn't come.
Huh?
I come and you didn't come. Something happened. I will feel so much distressed. How can I feel happy? It's impossible
Don't.
at that moment.
Okay, feel distressed, will I come?
No.
Then what? If your distress is going to change the situation, all right, feel distressed. This can work in marriage. You act distressed, don't become distressed, you act distressed. See, she's looking at me, she knows it. You act distressed, some things work. But if you're always acting distressed, then they know what to do.
Why I asked this advice on happiness? Because, you know, very big teachers of different religions, if you ask them, they say approximately in different words, but the same things about happiness.
What?
That
They don't say this.
No, not what you're saying. I mean, you know, in different religions, if we look at them…
They will tell you, if you hold God's hand, you will be happy.
My question was about, don't you think that people who are really in a lot of philosophical, you know…
No.
mind?
Philosophers… See, look at the philosophers' faces from any time. They don't look joyful, do they?
Okay, Dalai Lama.
No, I don't want to comment about anybody, please.
I would like to ask you about this feeling of stress, about global catastrophe.
No.
What do you think?
Stress is not about the situations. Stress is about your inability to handle your own psychological and emotional process. If you learn to use your fingers properly, they'll never go and poke your eyes, yes or no? They'll do many useful things. Similarly, if you learn to use your mind properly, they will never poke you, they will do wonderful things. Your mind is the greatest miracle on this planet, but right now, people are using it as misery manufacturing machine. We want to change that. So, next year I am launching a movement called Miracle of Mind. All the idiots learn that you have the greatest miracle sitting here and you're making a mess out of that.
But because it's very hard to feel happy if something
No.
goes not your way.
See,
you feel, and
we
it's
can
hard.
do one thing, we can at least make you very peaceful, permanently peaceful. If we remove certain parts of your brain surgically, you will be always peaceful.
That's true.
If you remove the possibility, problem will also go away. To keep the possibility and not experience it as a problem, this means exercise of your intelligence. Intelligence… See, if I ask you a simple question, do you want your mind to be sharp or blunt?
Sharp.
Sharp. I'll bless you. Now, once you hold something sharp in your hand, let's say I give you a very sharp knife, now you must be very conscious and your hand should be steady. If you're little la 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 la, intestines will come out. Yes or no?
Yes.
That's all that's happening right now. You have a sharp knife. You're doing la la la, it's cutting you up, it hurts.
Okay, so what should I do with this sharp knife to keep in my mind?
You come, we will do some engineering and make it stable, make your hand stable. Knife becomes a very useful instrument.
How to do it?
That's what I said, if you're willing to give 30 hours of your focus time, I will teach you the way.
Okay, yes, of course. I would be very much pleased. So, finishing up our interview, I want to ask you about the real threat of a global kind of catastrophe. Many people are afraid of that nowadays. Do you think it's real? Because so many talks about global apocalypses, nuclear war and things like this. Do you believe that it can really happen in our…
I don't think nuclear war is an apocalypse. Apocalypse means God got angry and burned the whole planet, something like that.
But he can burn it with a nuclear war too. A god can do it.
That men can do it. And maybe in future women. That gods cannot do, fire a nuclear bomb. He'll just burn it in his cooking stove. All right? It can happen. Right now, this year, the amount of solar flares that are coming towards the earth, it is many times larger than the planets. That much solar flare is coming. But because of the planetary movement, we are not getting the entire blast. If we get the entire blast, we're gone. So such things are always happening in the cosmos. Asteroids are moving, people say asteroid hit and all the dinosaurs died, whatever. What do you do if an asteroid hits? We all die. Suppose it lands here between you and me now. What to do? Interview will go waste.
But I will die in a good company. That's a good point. In your positive thinking, maybe this will…
No, what I'm trying to tell you is, this is what I said a few moments ago, nobody knows what they are stepping into in the next moment. But the fools believe that they know. If you see, I do not know, your intelligence will be alert, so alert, you would handle most situations to the best of your ability. Otherwise, in your life, you will not even do what you can do. See, in your life, if you do not do what you cannot do, that's all right. But if you do not do what you can do, that's a disaster. Right now, have you been peaceful in your life sometimes? You've been.
Sometimes.
Have you been joyful?
Yes.
Blissful?
Sometimes.
Ecstatic? Sometimes. So your problem is only sustainability. You're not incapable of joy, you're not incapable of peace, you're not incapable of ecstasy, not sustainable. So what does it mean? What you can do, you're not doing. It's a disaster. Isn't it?
It's true.
See, suppose you're just not capable of joy, then what to do? That's a different thing. Right now you can't do this and fly away. What to do? That's how we are made. We'll find something, we'll find an airplane, we'll find a glider, we'll do something. That's different. But what you can do, if you do not do, that's a disastrous way to exist. So unfortunately, too many people are making a disaster out of themselves. So next year I'm rolling out something called Miracle of Mind. We want to touch at least 3 billion people from stopping their minds becoming misery for themselves and others. Please be a part of it.
Yes, thank you so much. I want you to give some advice to Russian auditory because…
Oh, I thought you were giving advice to me now.
No.
You said I wanted to give you some advice. So…
No, I think I cannot give you any advice, sorry.
Because I never took any advice from anybody.
Yes.
Right from that stage. Not because I think I know everything. I understand that I am life. I am not interested in knowing anything in this universe except life. And when I am life, what is there for me to listen to you? So today, wherever I go, people think I know the whole universe. No, that's just I know only one thing. I know this piece of life, from its origin to its ultimate. Fortunately, that piece of life also is made the same way, though she thinks she's a different species.
But you know, one thing was different. For example, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I never thought of any apocalypse. It was something from movies which we see. But now, I really think, well, maybe that's the end of the world.
Because of media like you, where is apocalypse? It's much safer, I'm telling you.
Think like that.
If you did not think in 1940s when the world war was going on, if you did not think apocalypse, why now?
But
Only Russians and Israelis are fighting, all right? Everywhere else it's fine, everybody's having… Just see it, today Sunday evening, the big parties going on everywhere, it looks like apocalypse to you.
But those people who live in this situation, don't you think they search more for some peace or some, you know, to keep themselves more calm? They turn to mystics, they turn to religion, they turn to yoga. They search different paths to get rid of this, you know, feeling of…
See, it is not because of the situation. It's their inability to handle their own cerebral capability. What they're asking is, if I had the brain of an earthworm, I would be peaceful. That's why I said if you remove a part, you will be peaceful. That's not the point, that's not a solution, isn't it? The solution is, you have a brain, but you don't have a keyboard, or you don't know where it is. You must find that out, where is the keyboard? If you have a brain and don't have a keyboard, something works. You do one thing, you go to the phone part of your phone and do like this. We don't know who it'll call, right? Only if you do like this, it'll call the right person. This also is just like that. In your schools, in your education systems, in your culture, there is no education about how to handle this. They're teaching you how to conquer the damn world. They're not teaching you how to handle yourself, your own intelligence, your own emotion, how to handle this. We must do this to this world if you want a healthy world, especially now, because world is moving towards mental instability all over the place.
You agree with that?
Before a child is 12 years of age, we must have taught them how to handle their thought and emotion. Otherwise, in the next 15–20 years' time, half the world will be mentally ill.
The world is moving the right place, you think, or the wrong place?
The world is moving the right way, it's only the people. Planet has not changed any direction, it's moving the right way, same speed.
But evil or good things are ruling right now in the world, what do you think?
I don't think there's anything like that. I don't see life as good and evil. Some people will be creating problems, some people will be creating solutions. As a generation of people, if we create more solutions than problems, we think we are having a great time. But it'll be foolish to think there'll be some time when there'll be no problems. There's no such thing.
Maybe when women will be ruling the world, no wars.
Then I know what'll be the problem. You may not know, I know.
Okay, thank you so much, Sadhguru. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it a lot. Thank you.